Control, we have Mr. Kevin McCarthy from Washington.
From Washington.
Yeah, from DC. I actually spoke with you for Salt.
Ah,
It was
yeah.
great. You were unbelievable. I love this movie. You have 2 great movies this year.
Oh,
Love
thanks.
your movies, so it's good stuff.
You're the first. It's my first interviews where I'm hearing what people think of the movie. So it's that day where you kind of think, oh,
Yeah, it was really
don't
cool.
hate it. That's good.
No, it was good. It was fun. I mean, I loved your slow walks in the movie. They were awesome.
Excellent. Are you...
I'm ready to go, yeah.
You know about my signals?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. In your own time. Thank you.
Cool. All right, well, there's a great scene in the movie when you first meet Johnny Depp's character where you ask him to ask you to dinner. And I am so bad when I ask girls out to dinner. So I was going to ask you if I could get some tips, if let me ask you to see if I do it well. Because if I ask the most beautiful woman in the world and I can do it with you, I could ask any girl out. So I wanted to see if maybe you can give me some tips, like how confident should I be when I ask a girl to dinner?
I do like a very confident man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I said, Angelina, will you go to dinner with me? Would that work?
I'd have to ask Brad.
Yeah, Brad, I'm sorry. That wouldn't work out too well. He'd be like, what are you doing? Now, I have to ask you, in the film, you love doing your own stunt work. You did a lot of stunt work in Salt. And when I talked to you in Salt, you actually said you hit your head and got some stitches. Talk about the stunt work you did in this film.
It was a different kind of stunt because I was a girl. So it was, I mean, in that traditional way of those old movies where the girl doesn't punch somebody in the face. You know? So I think we even had one where it was so odd where the guy's hanging off my boat. And I said, well, wouldn't I just like punch him in the head or get on his hands or what? And they said, no, you take the life raft and you try to hit him. And I said, really, that feels so like odd. Like, why don't I just punch him? And it was that crossover for me of, the more elegant female thing to do would be
to hit him with
but I felt really silly hitting him with a life raft. but it was part of the character, so it was fun to learn a different way of being physical, which is somebody who's a little more unsure and a little more female.
Did you actually learn to drive boats though in the movie too? Had you ever done that before? Were you an expert at driving boats? Because you look pretty good driving boats in the movie. I'm like, it looks awesome.
No, I've never really driven a boat, but I did have a good. They made me practice through all the little, not the cones or the bobs in the water, and I had to just do it over and over and over again and stop and start, and I eventually got it.
Now you travel the world all the time. Now, do you ever consider yourself a tourist? Do you ever walk out and go, where's the big map? I need to ask people for directions, or do you just feel comfortable in every country that you go to? Because I can't even imagine you asking somebody for directions or something like that.
I love to travel around, and I do love a map. I'm a sucker for a map, but I do tend to just like to blend in and see whatever the locals are doing and just hang out and figure it out. But I do.
Now, last time I spoke with you, I asked you about how you balance your life out. I mean, obviously, you have kids and you're working all the time, you're acting, and I actually asked you if you packed your kids' lunches, and you said, yes, you do. All this great stuff. Now, talk about shooting a movie like in Venice. Like, take me through a day. Like, do you shoot, then do you go home and see your kids? How does that work for you?
I did. Some days I was able to take the boat home.
You drove the boat
to our
home?
palazzo. Yeah, there's no other way to get. It was fun. The kids were there. We had school at the house. Sometimes they did school on the boat. They had some tutors with them and a local Italian teacher who was with them, and Daddy was with them every day. And so sometimes I was there for breakfast, and sometimes Daddy would take over, and then I'd come see them in the afternoon, or they'd come out to set, or it was just lovely. We had a great Venetian experience. We went to the museums and hung out and had a lot of gelatos and.
A lot of gelato.
A lot of gelato.
What's your favorite gelato flavor?
I'm kind of traditional with chocolate.
Oh, I like chocolate as well.
I like chocolate.
Well, I was going to say congratulations in the film. I loved you in the movie. And I got to say, I love these types of beautiful films. But when you sat down with Johnny Depp for the first time, it's the first time you met him was this movie, correct? Mm-hmm. Talk about chemistry. When you first meet somebody, what do you think the most important aspect is for the chemistry? Because you just met Johnny Depp for the first time for this movie.
I think we'd seen each other's films, so we know a little about each other. Mm-hmm. But we immediately started talking about our kids and France, which are things we had in common, and I think we talked a little bit about tattoos. But mainly our children, and I think when you talk about, when you have in common something that's very, as important as that, you kind of have a natural, you hit it off pretty quickly. And but we just had a lot of fun. We were giggling quickly.
You guys were great. Thank you so much for the
Thank
interview.
you.
Pleasure to meet you, by the
Nice
way.
to see
Thank you
you.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kev.